Hello there and welcome to a league match, but not one I'm playing in. This is going to be a match between BitterWurmcoil and yurikamome. Another A division. Two players I've yet to play this season, but will be playing shortly, so I thought I'd just watch it. I was free. They were playing. Gonna be a real crazy Friday evening here in Dominion World. Anyway, they've got a kingdom, got Druid, Wisp, and Swamp, which is nice, and the 5s are quite good. Well, I mean, Barge and Festival are pretty good. Barge is quite good because of Lost Arts potential. This also makes, I think Charm is going to be quite useful here between Duchy Duke, just gaining barges, whatever. You probably open Spice Merchant Silver. You could open Spice Merchant Druid. Maybe you do that. There's a risk of not hitting 5 for a little bit if you open with the Druid, but Spice Merchant looks pretty easy. Yeah, so they both opt for the silver, which seems reasonable to me. Yurika hits the 5 right off here. Be a good shuffle if the Spice Merchant doesn't miss. Go straight for Barge, it seems pretty reasonable. This is kind of rough, yeah. This is a tough one. Well, it's fine because they just have 5 in the next. It's really their equivalent. Second silver is probably fine. It's not crazy to like think about a Druid, but silver is probably a little better. I don't really love Candlestick Maker at all. Not crazy. Nothing's crazy because of swap. But there's obviously some risk of taking whatever. I don't know how far they'll actually get into the greening because the piles are probably, the 5s are gonna be kind of vacuumed up. In a duration, the Barge here, almost certainly. No, they drew it. Wow, and they got a really good draw. I mean, there's a real risk of having the Spice Merchant be drawn dead, which wouldn't have been the end of the world, but also would not have been particularly helpful. Going straight for the Lost Arts and buys a Druid now, that seems fine. It's nice yurikamome there gets to trigger the shuffle now with the Barge in there, and it's a Lost Arts Barge, so things are looking nice. They're just picking up the Druids in anticipation of buying swap, but I don't know if these last 2 cards, if one of these is a copper, you probably duration the Barge and use C's Gift. But I haven't been deck tracking to know if there's an estate down here, there's some risk involved in that. You can also just draw with the Barge. It is not crazy. You probably, do you go straight for swap? With 2 Druids, you probably do. So you're going to be putting another Wisp in here. Oh, well, you're going to trigger the shuffle first, but the swap there looks reasonable. Then somebody's going to get kind of running on the Barges probably a little faster, and then that's going to be potentially runaway. We'll see. BitterWurmcoil went for the second, as the second Barge, which may pay off just going directly to the barges in terms of draw here, especially if you top deck them. So yurikamome is just adding in the actions in anticipation of swapping a lot of things, but yeah, I don't know here. There can duration this barge clearly. How to properly ramp up the payload here is not super clear, but swap druid looks reasonable, or swap candlestick maker certainly. Probably druid a little better. You have a reasonable shot of just getting to wisp. Play wisp and then maybe go off a little bit more. Okay. Play that swap, I think. Given what was left, I think you play the wisp earlier, right? It was guaranteed to draw, I believe. And so you were going to swap one of these other things anyway. So I think you could have played the wisp earlier, though. This is allowing you to get another swap out of it, I suppose. Though there is a bit of a risk, I guess I would say, that you never get the barges to support this. Like, this is not that clean. There are a lot of stop cards still in this deck relative to BitterWurmcoil's deck. So there's a real chance that this next turn is just kind of crappy. Though if you find swap with whatever, you're probably fine. And if you find barge, you're probably fine. So they went ahead and prepared, used a coffer to prepare. It's just a question here of whether the BitterWurmcoil can kind of ratchet up the payload here quickly enough relative to Eureka, who has an advantage on that, but isn't as, you know, condensed for whatever gain in play or just for getting more payload in. But will probably catch up on that front and has more, basically just more actions right now for swapping. Losing the Spice Merchant right off rip there. This is interesting. The prepare is just the estates, right? Yeah. Killing the druid to get what? A festival? It doesn't even give you... Wait, that's terrible. That's so bad. You don't need a duration to... I mean, I understand the idea, I think, but I don't think I like it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's a little weird to me, but maybe it's fine. It's not clear how many of the swaps you'll even have left to do this stuff with, but I guess you can change. Probably be at least one swap, so. Charmin deck is quite nice. One of these has got to be another barge. Borge. Too bad swap can't gain anything. It needs a buff. It should be unrestricted. So we're gonna draw with the barge. There are 4 cards. You're guaranteed to find the wisp even if it's last. Probably duration of barge. Yeah. Here you can charm and it lets you pick up 2 5s and a CSM, which is nice. I guess if you want to buy out all the barges, you can also just take money and just buy 2 barges. If you want to... I wish I was, you know, sophisticated enough to make a good Borges reference now, but no, I just can't do it. Probably not how you say his name either. Okay, so that's a question though. Do you want to leave a barge for them, or do you want to empty them? Barges are actually not super great for BitterWurmcoil. Oh, we're right into the... We're worried about pilouts, I guess. I'm not sure that that's real. Oh, they use the charm on that. That's cute. So you could still get even both barges if you wanted to, if you're so inclined. That is pretty cute. Or you could get another charm or whatever, you know, live your life. You could buy a bunch of candlestick makers. This has become a real puzzler. They're going with barge denial, which I think is probably fine. To be perfectly honest, I think the payload gap here is big enough that it probably, none of it probably matters a whole lot. I think you just have to swap into another festival here, and then you're buying your charms a bit late. You're not in as quite a good spot to do the marshland stuff, which is nice with charm. Going for a swap, I guess. I don't... Maybe you need a third swap now? I don't know. It's not the most interesting thing to me of all time. This doesn't really seem correct, but what do I know? I guess you have to be sort of committed to actually feeding the swaps now. You got... I mean, I guess you have 2 actions, the Wisp and the Spice Merchant, that you could potentially toss in the old swap bin, but there's not... It's just hard. It's gonna be hard to maneuver your way out of this unless you're... Whoa. Ah, whoa. Yurikamome just generously donates a pile out to you. Just like Shad and I both generously donated to one another. wins during our matches. Mine was actually worse. My blender was worse. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yours was mine was worse in the sense that it was just guaranteed. Yours was worse in that, you know, it was close to guaranteed probably, but not. I mean, I didn't even check like playing your turn differently to see if you can get to the pile out, but certainly you could have scored in a way that made you win the game in a couple turns or whatever. Mine was just definitely 100 to 0, and yours was, you know, maybe 99.9 to 0 or something. Probably not even that high. Yes. But, like, I just missed an easy win. I mean, I knew there was that weird thing that could happen, but it was also just, I completely forgot that you can buy destriers for 0. Just dismissed my buy when I was counting stuff. Because I had no money. My draw to not finish on that turn was also pretty awful. There's sort of bad wishes, but also pretty unfortunate. Anyway. We were charitable to one another. That's what I'll say. That's how I'll say it. Yeah, for sure. These kind of spice merchants coming back is kind of weird to me, but whatever. So I don't know exactly what happened here, but I'm skeptical that this was the path. But whatever. It's okay-ish. It's at least okay-ish. Marchland's a cool card. What do you go like? I mean, I guess you don't want to push your luck too far. Well, you don't care. You just duration 2 barges. You have 4 in the deck. You can push your luck here a little bit. So I'm gonna think you go for the 3rd charm and like a druid or whatever, druid or CSM, one or the other. I don't think you need to be like so defense. Like you already have. This points lead, which isn't huge, but it'll grow a little bit faster than it looks like it is right now. There's just no shot your opponent has some magic pile out. I don't think there's an estate pile out and swap. I don't think you can do both those things in a turn. That would be the thing you'd have to check, though. You'd have to check the estates. But I'm going to guess that that's not here. But maybe it is. Mainly because of the $16. I don't think $16 is in either deck really. I mean, you can like you can generate more money with Marchland, but it's not real money probably. Like it nets you a little bit, but Well, it doesn't. Yeah, like it might net you $1. Maybe it can net Eureka more, but this is just like so sad if you're in this turn 11 and you've swapped back for a Spice Merchant and you're just using it to do the draw, like to go trash copper 2 cards. Like that's such a underwhelming thing here. This is also an insane shuffle though, because this is 3 barges bottom decked, which is wild. I guess you could swap. You could swap the barge for a festival, and then play the whatever. Play the next swap, because it's like all barges down here. Yeah, you didn't need, I don't know, 2 Spice Merchants. What is this? This is like so cruddy. I'm not, again, I think they're kind of checkmated, but I think this is pretty bad play of this turn. This is such a like a goofy situation now. Like again, having 3 duration barges for the next turn isn't even good. It doesn't even, it's not doing anything for you the next turn. There's no like use for the big hand size. So you've just made your draw weird. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe Eureka has a pile out. I mean, we've got the loose actions. It's just whether we have the $16. Because the I mean the fuel for the swap out is here already. I don't know that there's anything like $16 if you're changing out the festivals. But you can net March only gives $1, right? Yeah, okay. I was thinking 2 when I was talking earlier. That's crazy. That would be a crazy card. It's going to be pretty helpful to get these to 6 here, which is almost certainly going to happen. Possibly with a duchy too. Can do 4 of these. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11. That's just $11. I guess if you're using Marchland, you maybe, but it's not like the swap gets you extra there. You could save a festival potentially. Then your Marchland is kind of money neutral, but if you're, but then you're trying, I don't know. It's probably totally fine to just like score points if you're BitterWurmcoil as well, and maybe add a festival or whatever it is. Add a festival, add a charm, score points. I mean, if there's a win, take the win. Doesn't hurt to look for it. I'm not seeing one immediately. The swaps are being lowered. You can't empty the charms, can you? This is kind of a weird lowering, though. Again, it may not be a issue. This is like an amount of lowering where you think they must definitely see a pile out, but is there a curse pile out? Is it a curse win? That would be kind of cute. There you go. All right. I can't say I saw it in time to really count it, but I saw it before the clicking occurred. That's got to be worth some small amount of points. Some small amount of noticing it points. Not very many. All right. That's one for Yurikamome. They were first player, so not a devastating win from either. The old cursing everything. What do we have? What do we have? Sewers fleet, blah, 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 blah. Guess you're a little hungry for gains here, but guess you're gonna play council room and buy expensive things. I don't know. It could go quite fast between remodel and potentially crucible, so there's some ways to really eat through points that maybe make the fleet turns not so exciting, though probably they'll be relevant. Shad's here, so each game I gotta find something from our match to talk about. Our fleet game was kind of was a weird one. We got through almost all the points, and in fact we would have, I think, basically got through everything if I had played my turn out. It was a weird one. It also had council room, right? Wasn't it our fleet game, or was that a different one? Council room playing a notable role. So somebody opened livery before recruiter. No, I lied. That person just got to buy both those things, turn 3 and 4. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, okay, so that looks, I'm not sure what else is happening in the game, but I'm gonna assume that probably BitterWurmcoil's ahead pretty considerably based off just that and nothing else. It's funny, they both took Sewers too. I would have almost thought Sewers was maybe like a bit of a waste of time here, just based on getting recruiters. Especially if you've opened Crucible and you buy a recruiter at that point, but of course they're one card trashers, so you still get some value out of Sewers, but it is going to disappear pretty quickly. On the other hand, if you have exactly 3, it's just competing with a silver, so it's not maybe the hardest sell to get there either. Goes for another livery. That's interesting. I wonder if we're gonna see I guess we're gonna see some livery remodel action, like Shad said. That's true. They're gonna trash a lot more cards and gonna have to decline sewer a million times. But they're on even footing there. I guess it's a bit of a catch-up mechanic because whoever's winning will have to decline it more often for a while. Okay, so we're going to buy a remodel probably. Obviously you can do this stuff with the livery, but it's still real slow. Not slow, slow's not exactly the word, but it doesn't spin up all that quickly just because remodel kind of sucks. And the things you're remodeling into aren't like, you know, change your life good, but oh, you do get the forum plus. Never mind. I didn't think about forum. That's gonna give you enough fuel to the fire that I'm take back what I just said immediately. All right, neat stuff all around. Big fan. What do we think the remodel's gonna shoot for right off the bat here? Just another remodel. We're chaining. I wonder, ooh, we get a little death here. Death of a horse. It's sad. See another livery added in at this point, potentially. Going for the remodel. We're going for more chaining. Again, I don't think that's wrong or anything, but you could have, like here, you could have silvered a livery and then done 3 liveries, had $10, I suppose, and gone, you know, double forum or forum mining village or whatever. It's a bit odd to do all your gain and play there and then not get. I would have thought getting to the third horse there would be a little better than one more remodel play on that turn, but whatever. Super ahead. Super duper ahead. Just because you get, you know, maybe you could have even gotten to 4 liveries mid-turn here. I mean, you can still do that. Nothing I'm going to say is going to be impossible for BitterWurmcoil, but maybe a little easier, and then you're really printing horses. Love a good horse printing situation. Cannot be beat. Goes for the remodel. Okay. I still remain. I feel like the order here is wrong. Again, it's like the other one. If you think before the end of this turn you're going to gain another livery, it's better to do it earlier and play it so that you are getting the horses. But I guess if you don't think you're gaining another livery, then whatever. But I kind of assumed one was. Just going to empty the remodels. Okay. Interesting. I get scared about the amount of stop cards you put into the deck at some point, but probably at the end you buy 2 forums and it's fine. But that's the other advantage of the livery, the extra livery sooner, right? Is it allows you to accumulate horses in a more insane fashion. But that's just my preference. My personal preference. See, again, here it's been done. You're gaining a livery this turn, right? Okay, well, imagine if you had had that livery every other remodel play, which you still could have done. You had extra remodels. You could still have chained everything. This wasn't, you weren't limited. And just then you'd have 4 or 5 more horses now or whatever. Oh my gosh. The horse, they didn't even notice that there was a horse just flushed, just straight on down. Oh boy. Well. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is the classic, I don't like what was done, but it's going to win, but that's fine. It's a bit of a quibble at this point. You open Silver Crucible and you get... Yeah, that's very possible. Do we have a pile out? Gains are kind of hard to manage. I mean, you can get a lot of buys, but then you don't necessarily have a lot of cash. Oh, that's true. You can mill provinces. No, I mean, you don't even have to mill all of them, but for sure, yeah. You can mill enough of them. Saving clicks. Kindly soul. All right, that one was a little, had a little more pop to it. Livery's such a great card. All right, swap is two classics of the game. 2 modern classics. Everyone loves a good modern classic. What do we got here? Well, there is Bandit Fort Alliance, which is really something. Really something to behold. Beyond that, I mean, Frigate is being a bit of a spoil sport here, so you can do some things. There's still some things to be done, probably involving enlarge. But Alliance is going to be a bit of a tough sell. So the gold kills the duchy and the silver is -2 on the estate. So the provinces, so you can score 4 points. No, it's just 2. I thought Bandit Fort was 3. Okay, new math. It's just the province points. It's just the province points, so it's not the, probably not the play. It's going to be a hard sell. Obviously, you could use the golds or the silvers within large, but I think you're probably fine just doing silk merchants into golds into provinces and be relatively happy with that. If people don't take the frigates, then the Horn of Plenty is a real thing here, just on the back of Minstrel Silk Merchant Courtyard. Like, there's plenty of drawn uniques to do big horn stuff. If you're attacked doing big horn stuff, you know, you're limited. You can still get the uniques, kind of 1, 2, 3, just because so much orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can have, you'd have to have one other little treasure, I guess a library or something. Library smugglers, and then you can play horns, but you could only have 4 of them in your hand, I suppose. So the question of smuggling this, did they smuggle the smugglers? No, they opted not to. But it'll be kind of interesting to see when and if the frigates make their appearance. And it's not like that hard, but it's not trivial to be playing one every turn. Smuggling and enlarged, great. Enlarged, I have mixed feelings on enlarged. It's definitely a card that can produce bad times. But that can be a good thing. You know, cards that can produce bad times can be good times, if you follow me. Give you a little friction to work against in your game. So I don't want to write it off, but it's not my favorite card of all time. Cemetery. Maybe maybe this enlarge will gain 2 cemeteries. Will we see a smuggler for a cemetery? Do we care about Ghost? Ghost would also help your horns, I guess, if you did horns. I'm a Ghost hater. I'll be a Ghost hater till the day I die. And then I'll be a Ghost. So it's, you know, so it's appropriate. Okay, so BitterWurmcoil, not a Ghost hater. In fact, they got the Ghost. We're gonna see what happens here for Yurika. I would have actually thought you kind of wait on the cemeteries maybe, and just, I'm surprised there are only 2 silk merchants gone. Is actually not how I thought this would go. I thought it'd be a little more rushed on silk merchant, minstrel, and large stuff, and then you know, see from there. But they're playing more of the kingdom than at the start than I maybe would have. Smugglers can be like that though. Plus, if you go like you ghost enlarge, that's scary. This is a board where you couldn't get away with that maybe, but it's not trivial to deal with a duration or a ghost that's played 2 and enlarged twice. I almost said that correctly. Got real close. Someday. Keep working on it. What do you do here? Just trash everything. So no ghost for Yurika. That's me cheering in the background. Yeah, you ghost your smugglers. This is where if you're yurikamome, you gain nothing but a curse for your turn. That's all you gain. They'll never see it coming. You just stop your turn, buy curse. Aw. Okay. Well, guess we're not doing that. I don't really think that's what you ought to have done, but you know. Now your deck has nothing in it. Congratulations. This is what the cemeteries have done for you. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terminals, 1 copper. This is just, I understand the desire to be thin, but this is not the deck composition, I don't think. I just don't think this is it. So what do you get? Gold and buy minstrel? I don't know. You could just gain minstrel, I suppose, yeah. Can you use all the coffers by another minstrel or what? If you're BitterWurmcoil, then you have your choice of the... Oh yeah, you could do a hop there too. Better than my gold idea. Well, they're kind of similar, probably in outcome. For the turn anyway. Long term, maybe a little more complicated to decide, but... The smugglers is going to be real nice. Going to be able to... Yeah, that's a good point. That you should probably top deck the Silk Merchant rather than the cemetery. That's a funny thing to think of at that point. I guess they were thinking for the... I guess the idea was for the enlarged to have the cemetery target. It's probably going to have a cemetery target anyway. Your top deck is probably not that important, but... What are we going to see? Or do you think BitterWurmcoil will split or go double silk? Does go for the split, the minstrel and the silk. Seems reasonable to me. Seems quite good to me. This is a little sad that they didn't get... well, I guess that wasn't possible, actually. Never mind. Still sad, you know, that the impossible didn't happen. We're going for more cemeteries. People love cemeteries. You know what I would have thought about those 4 coppers there? I would have thought the 4s are pretty good here. I could buy a 4. That's what I actually, no joke, would have thought with those coppers. But they didn't think that. It is going to make the gain and play of this horn that you're going to smuggle from your opponent a little easier. So there's that. Don't want to undersell the advantage of being thin, which of course is good. So are we going to see a minstrel or a silk? What do we think? Nobody's gone for the frigate yet. You can kind of play through these turns under 4. It's not like that hard at this stage. It's more, excuse me, pardon me. It would be more about heading them off at the pass, you know. So that we do see a frigate gain. So we'll see what happens on the other side. You could also probably win this by just like having a lot of minstrels and better stuff. I wonder if that's a really insightful point. The plays horn, gains horn, buys silk. Ghosting the silk, beautiful. I don't know what kind of person said ghost was not great, because look at what the ghost is doing, and that's pretty great. I don't know why anyone wouldn't like Ghost. It's a night duration spirit. It has insane art. It's the most boring, insane art in all of Dominion. That's probably not true. I like Cemetery. Cabin Boy sort of looks like he might be 40. What exactly are they enlarging? That's unclear. Yep, that's a frigate. I actually don't know if that's a frigate. I don't have that knowledge, but I'm gonna trust them. This has an insane amount of the same color in one silk merchant, in one art piece. You sure can see it though. Minstrel, of course, also has an insane amount of the same color. Every single person in Minstrel is made of wood. This is where the wood people live. Alright, what do we have? What do we have? Frigate gains frigate. We're gonna have continual frigate. Yeah, library's pretty okay. I think whatever's going on over on the left is a bit beyond me. I think the spiral staircase has got some, like, it might be completely flat issues. It looks like a picture of a spiral staircase in the library. Other than that, you know, it's got books. Definitely some books there. Alright, well, BitterWurmcoil did not get to play their frigate this turn. So yurikamome is free to do what they want. Wait, never mind. Something has changed. They do play the frigate. I was wrong all along. Alliance is just so blurry to me. I don't know if that's what the real art looks like or just what it looks like on the website or whatever. It looks like this guy might have a real good facial expression going on, but it's hard to tell. Really, both the guys who are facing the camera, as it were, in the middle. I'd like to know more about them. The horse looks interested, but it's not. I don't know if the person is talking. gonna mute them just in case. And if they turn their mute on, I will unserver mute them. Actually, I don't even care that much. It's not piped to the YouTube video. If DDL starts talking, you know, then I'll server mute, but whatever. Okay, it's probably just not. What am I trying to do? I don't know what John's looks like. What are they even doing in this game? This one's gonna take a bit to close out. Well, maybe not. They've got a they're well on their way to a 3 pile. Oh, you didn't do anything wrong. I just sometimes I look over at the voice channel and see if the mics are muted for the people, because sometimes people just forget and then there are little sounds coming, not even talking necessarily, but little sounds coming in. But you're good. And I can't hear it or anything, and it's not going to the recording either. It's just something that sometimes other people in the Discord voice channel can hear. So really doesn't affect me personally in any way, but what are they gonna do? Some people are real believers in getting this. This seems a little weird to buy the cabin boy there, because you're not, surely this is just gonna 3 pile on like Minstrel Cemetery. Maybe there's a hop minstrel pile out for Wormcoil. Don't know. You must have glanced away many minutes ago, Donald X. They've been in there for a while. It is 1-1. Didn't play the smugglers. Interesting. So they don't want to play the smugglers at all. Worried about 3 piles, I suppose. Instead, they're just, or actions. I mean, actions also a legitimate consideration here. Are people just not lowering those things for fear of piles, I guess? I guess it's fear of piles. Well, the smugglers is in there, Shad, so maybe they'll hit that. It's not that bad to hit Cabin Boy. It might even be the best thing of the things in there. Once one province was gained, pretty dramatically increases the chances of this game ending on provinces rather than a 3 pile of some sort. Can these decks survive to cross the finish line? Is there a frigate in the trash? No. Somebody just has, well, BitterWurmcoil has 3, I think. It's okay. It's okay for buying provinces, I guess. Play some minstrels, play some frigates, buy a province. Not the craziest thing. Your opponent's really capped on the amount of crap they can get into play. This library is gonna see full drawing library into discard 3. Bit of a bummer. We may end up staying up past my bedtime. Which seemed unlikely given that the match started at 6 p.m. my time. But it may happen. They're actually not on a crazy pace or anything. Just this game has bogged up a little bit. The others were fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 uniques. We couldn't see it. We could see the 4 province turn. It's not a 5 province turn. Because I was actually a little confused by the set asides. There's nothing but more actions, right? I don't know what the last 2 cards are. Because the copper is an issue, right? Because you could have kept there was potentially a world where you get to the 5 province turn instead of a 4 province turn, because there was like a world where you can actually do the frigate play and then draw back with the minstrel and the silk merchant, but yurikamome was tossing those things. You would have the copper would have maybe made things a little complicated. Otherwise, I think it was like close to guaranteed. Maybe not. Maybe not close. Maybe I'm full of it. What are we getting here? What's the horn? There were 6 gone and now there are 3 in the trash, but we know one of them's over here. So there are only 2 horns of plenty in BitterWurmcoil's deck, which is not really going to be enough to get the 3 provinces, which would be a win because they still have a cemetery. That's not quite in the works. On the other hand, yeah, maybe there's not another hand. I don't know how you get there. The duchies are tough because, well, as it turns out, yurikamome is going to be able to play a smuggler, so you're not going to really make much progress there. Guess you could get a hop. I don't know if you have. You're not getting to $8 though. Like even if you get a hop and somehow draw more things. Now next turn, $8 won't be a problem. So Yurika can buy a duchy for sure. Probably can gain a duchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can gain a duchy on hop. Is there more money in the deck? How does she... Oh, she's right. She needs 3. Right, the money's useless. It's just if you can get to 3 horns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there are uniques for sure. There's 6 in play now. Enlarge plus horn is 7, 8. If I've counted correctly. I might have double counted the frigate. Yeah, I did double count the frigate. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just 7, right? There's no smugglers yet. I don't think it's 8. Now there's the smugglers would be 8, but yeah, the issue here is that Yurika can mill, yurikamome can mill a province, get 2 duchies, and that's going to be like too many points. And even if BitterWurmcoil buys a duchy, then Yurika can get 3 duchies, so. I don't know what she's gonna do. This is a smuggler's conundrum. You really needed to get enough money to buy province if you can win, because that at least is some forward progress. It's not going to be enough, but it would at least be something if your opponent's hand was bad enough, which their hand looks terrible and it's still probably good enough just because of the amount of duration stuff going on. Yeah, and you've burned coffers to do this as well. So this is like pretty clear just max points from the hand for yurikamome with a mill. Is the pile out in hand too? Frigate minstrel pile out in hand. It's 4 uniques. It's 4. If you play a smugglers, it's 4. Now I don't know if you need the $4. Get to $5. But you have to mill so you'd be a point ahead. Yeah, it works. I think it works. Mill province, frigate, smuggle, frigate. Cabin boy, frigate. Minstrel, minstrel. There it is. Alright, well, find the pile out or smash the points. Either way would have out fine. Alright, well that one was kind of interesting in a painful, excruciating way. But those can be good for us. Makes us stronger or something, I'm not really sure. This board you can't do a whole lot on. The village, it's just a village issue. You can work hard to make broker produce plus actions, but will that pay off in the end? I don't know. Probably not. Clashes are not painful. Most of the time, clashes don't do anything if people are playing around them. Clashes make the game longer, but they're not like, clashes are not oppressive unless somebody's bad. IMO. I don't know, I don't like frigate that much. I should Followers was beautiful. Doesn't, I don't think that helps Shed. It's really nothing helps the prize haters. All right. So I expect they're just, we'll see if somebody proves me wrong and tries to pivot into vineyard broker stuff. Pump up the action count somehow. But what I'm guessing is that they're going to be running more or less masquerade money with more exciting money in the form of ropes and some cobbling stuff. I think familiar, you just, print it at 2p, it's fine. Or 4p, like you make it 4p. I think either of those, it's better than 3p, but I also think familiar is fine. I don't know. I think it's maybe a little better if it's 4p maybe. If it has golem pacing, I mean, it's going to be kind of cruddy at that price point, but certainly sometimes it'll still be worth it. Golem should cost 3p. That's all Golem really needs. Well, Golem sucks, but I think Golem at 3p is like pretty okay, maybe fun card. Enchantress. Now, Enchantress is an attack. That's a good one. A lot of the duration attacks really kind of divide the audience, I think, pretty hard. There are some really interesting things done in that space, but they're really kind of, it's hard to know how exactly they're going to work until they get out into the world. Yeah, but like Mountebank's a thing of beauty. Ambassador is literally the top 5 favorite card of all time. I really like Mountebank better than Charlatan, but Charlatan is too friendly, but in a kind of way that still makes the decks kind of junky, but it makes like just buying provinces a lot stronger, which I think is boring. On boards where like people are just kind of getting charlatans and doing whatever. Well, they have a lot of cobblers. I don't know how many times they passed on gold for cobbler, and I actually think gold is maybe a little better after a certain point here, but the cobblers are all right. This is full on cobbler times here in this world, and I'm not totally convinced. Nobody. Wow. Doesn't even have $6. This is weird. This is really very, very weird. I'm interested. I'm interested in this number of cobblers if suddenly we're in Potion Town. Suddenly we're in Vineyard Land. This is gonna be a brutal pass if the pass occurs, but doesn't look like it's going to. Oh, but they do gain one. They're gonna get arena points. They're getting a rope. Why are the cobblers gone? This is so weird. I 100% do not believe that this was the play. Also, the cobblers are all super imbalanced. This is for sure like running towards maybe hard AI beats them here. IMO. That is a lot of cobblers. What does it all mean? What kind of world are we living in? Is this a pile out? Why do they have so many tools? Yeah, if you don't undo that, you just for sure lose. But, well, maybe you still lose. This is not very much money. You can empty the tools really easily. You can get 7 points is hard. You have to province. You have to like province and arena or something. You're player 1. I don't know. Not sure what's going on here. What if you had taken 3 tools, 2 brokers? Yeah, the money for sure. Yeah, I think, yeah, get 2 actions. Yeah. It even has a loose tools player, right? Well, it's no longer around. I mean, yurikamome can get 4 of the tools and then buy a messenger. I mean, if you don't outscore 7, well, even well, this passes a little bit of a pain. Pose. You gotta like, but even province's state loses. Yeah, you just lose now, right? Because you get 2 tools and then they you can't actually play the enchantress. Anyway, you have to take the points from the arena. Well, even that loses too. Yeah, I take it back. You're just sunk. That's a bummer. There was definitely a win there for BitterWurmcoil. Now it's a pretty easy messenger. Messenger is first in your buy phase, yeah. So 2 tools, tools gain tools, buy messenger, give out 2 tools, arena masquerade wins. Oh, you're so right, Shad. Never mind. All right, we get to play a little game. I guess there's some outs where, yeah, we get to play. There's something happening here. Yeah, this I do kind of think this cobbler stuff was nonsense. You can't. Now, if you get a messenger in play, if you gain, what happens if? No, that's going to be short too. But that would be really cute. Like if you gain messenger tools, then pig the messenger. If you draw another tools, it'll work. I think, because then you can tools for a messenger first and give 2 more. So if you draw one of your other tools off the enchantress messenger plus the masquerade draw, I think it works still. Though maybe not, because still the cobbler gain is like losing two tools gains if you don't take tools. So you may still end up short, or you may have to draw like 2 tools to make it work. But it would be an incredibly cute finish to gain messenger here and then draw into like a couple. You would have to draw into. You'd be down to 2. You'd have to draw into like 2 more tools in 3 cards. So maybe not the play, but it would be really funny. The madman is trying it. Nope, not really. Not really trying it. Well, that's... Oh, they drew 4 cards. So it remains unclear if the order in the log is like that, then it wouldn't have worked. But... Also did not get to province, so that's something. That's something that'll help out. Don't have a broker pile out, do we? These are so bad. Do you know how good gold would be in these decks? Like if you had, just imagine if you had 18 points and you were playing against one of these cobbler decks right now. You might even have, you could have 3 provinces by turn 10 here. It'd be a pretty quick pace, but it could be done. Alright, now the decks become super awful. Everybody loves this part of the game. And the decks become very, very bad. There's some cute broker things at least. Everybody loves cute broker things. Gains a potion. What is the actual action count here? Is it like 4 or something? There aren't actually a bunch of actions. I mean, it is like a potentially easy way to score, but how many tools are hanging out in there? Not a bunch. Is it a 1-point vineyard or is it a 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might just be 1 right now. I didn't see what it. Yeah, it was just 1. But now, if yurikamome cannot either win or outscore, then the pile out now is super easy. Now you assume they'll at least be able to outscore, but then we are running into like yeah. You could do that, but then you also are running up against I mean, they may be able to buy another vineyard, and they certainly can get to 6 before the end of the game. So it's not super clear that the vineyard was like wrong versus what you're proposing. Though maybe some of that depends on what the. Is nobody in range of like an estate pile out? You only need 8 and 4 buys. So right now you're a buy short if you're, but you can do a messenger buy. So then you need 10. Or no, it's the same money. You just save a buy, and you get 5 of them. They get 1 of them. So you win, right? Isn't the estate pile out just here with a broker for cash? Gain 2 estates with, and you even get the arena points, right? You can trash a tool for cash, gain 2 estates. That's just easy win, right? Someone's got to agree with me. You get to 3 buys, you buy a vineyard, or not a vineyard, you buy a messenger. Should be easy estate pile out. I wonder if there was an estate pile out for BitterWurmcoil. Probably not. But like, how many ropes were played? Just 1. There it goes. Yeah. So the BitterWurmcoil Mistwind does come back to punish. Swings that game. I really would kind of like yurikamome to win. Well, actually, BitterWurmcoil also had a pretty good start, right? It's hard to say at this point in the season where the preference is for who does what. My personal preference is based on me wanting to do well. It's a little early, well, just because a lot of people haven't played many matches. Tracer's played a bunch, I've played a couple. Then it's a bit scattered. But there's going to be a real slew of them in the next week or so. Okay. League of Shopkeeper. Alright. So... But Jeweled Egg is not the one that... What's the Bobble? Bobble's the one that does the thing with his liaison. So if you never... So now when you play Importer, you get $1. That's basically the story here, right? I wish whoever it was would, what's JE? Jeweled Egg? 2.5 is pretty good for that. I've never seen JE for Jeweled Egg in my life, I don't think. But I can get there. Yeah. And you can say egg. And I love eggs. Coin of the Realm opening. That I cannot get. That's crazy to me. That's totally wild. I'm sorry, Brepper. I didn't mean to roast you. Dude, the Coin of the Realm opening is so wild to me. You just buy Importer now. You borrow, don't you go ahead and play 4 and borrow and summon the Importer? I mean, I guess there's a risk that it hurts your count, but borrow minus 1 card, right? Yeah. I guess that's kind of scary. And now this coin is really going to look like a genius play. That's really... You can't argue with it, to be perfectly honest. It was so that when your importers collided on turn 6, you would be able to play both of them. Spell Scroll is really probably not what you want here. Spell Scroll is for sure one of those that is like super strong but can be terrible. I guess it's alright. It's like a journeyman or something, but everybody summon importers. 5s are quite playable. I don't know if I'm perfectly happy with Spell Scroll, but now we're getting, now the coin is also again doing some lovely things for Yurika here. I'll never say anything about Coin of the Realm again. Well, this isn't the best trash ever, but I guess, you know, you gotta make do. Are they gonna, is yurikamome gonna get a jeweled egg? You're kind of, your windows of like being able to trash the jeweled eggs well is, can get a little small. I guess maybe you could try and get like 2 or 3 of them at once and do it all together. This is a big trash. Oh yeah, you can. That's kind of cute. Fortress count, jeweled egg. Write that one down. Everyone write that down on their 3-card combo list. You can like top deck your journeyman and then do the trash and then have a fortress, and write it down. Does BitterWurmcoil have a Coin of the Realm? Nope, so this turn really sucks. That's a bummer. Maybe we're just not even going to gain loot. Maybe we're just going to go into it. I'm sure you could just never miss province ever again if you're yurikamome. And even swing a few extra duchies. Your opponent's turn super sucks. I hope someone gets Cardinal. How many villages are in this bottom 4 here? Like 2? How many did BitterWurmcoil whiff on? Two. Now here comes the jeweled eggs. You're not guaranteed to gain the loot though. Here you're not guaranteed to gain the loot. But you could have changed the order there a little bit. Well, no, not really. Here you just have, you know, and now you've top decked 2 loots. I don't think that was correct. I'm pretty sure there you just go ahead and bite the bullet, top deck fortress, gain the loots, and buy a fortress or whatever. That seemed greedy. I guess since it guarantees you a summon, maybe it's worth it. BitterWurmcoil really does not have the village to terminal balance worked out here, I don't think, correctly. In my opinion. What? What's happening? I was going to say, surely no. Whatever you're going to do, surely it's not that. I'm not loving this. Part of it's just kind of unfortunate luck, but I guess the idea is that you can gain it. I mean, I don't think it's totally crazy because you can, if you add in draw village, you can gain and play the loots. So it's not crazy to want to stop and just build there. To play get the importer plays, in my opinion. Because in theory, you can get enough draw here to do the jeweled egg stuff and gain and play them. The loots here. Well, I kind of think that it was correct, actually. But not if you do that way. Oh well. I don't know if that was right. I feel like the journeymen were played awfully quickly and that we maybe missed a little bit of draw somewhere in there. But also one of the, they were way plus on actions this turn. So one of the gains from importer could have been a journeyman. That was just played too quickly for me. For my tastes. We're going to have a real issue with pile out threat too. So 3 importers down is going to be kind of, it's all tough. You need it. You didn't get, again, the balance here is bad. Like this is way too many villages for this turn. So you could have swapped one of those fortress gains, that fortress gain for a journeyman gain, and maybe got a little more out of your turn there. Also sucked that you didn't get to play the figurehead, but this is looking pretty much over. I don't know if there will be a 3 pile this very turn, but it wouldn't be surprising at all if that were the case. You'd have to get to 20, so you'd probably have to draw. It's hard to do the jeweled egg tricks now. Harder, because you're going to have the other loots in hand. I think this is fine. What yurikamome, like if you don't see a path to a pile out this turn, just do this. Just double province or whatever it is, and you'll win. You're going to play like 3 more importers. Top deck a journeyman, you'll be fine. Not even 3 more importers, 4 more importers. They're going to have to call coin, but... Well, you don't have to, but... Probably you want to. You could have top decked a couple journeymen, but I guess that's probably a little greedy. If you're going to summon, though, you could have top decked both of them. You didn't even have 16, so... That turn also felt like it was probably a little probably incorrectly played. I think it would have been nice to get to the 2 bazaars instead of 2 journeymen. Then you get to 16. You wouldn't have had to call coin, I don't think. Yeah. And so then again, if you're going to summon Fortress there, then you've made a little bit of a misplay with the journeyman count thing. You should have discarded and then revealed them with Sextant, but it's not very likely to make or break the next turn, but there's some outside chance that it does. You've got such a big heads up on importer gains that it's going to be pretty easy to finish. Didn't love all the turn though. Not an easy thing to get all this right though. Just keep saying though. Though. You really don't need to buy anything. I don't think buying anything here helps you with your 2. You could do it, but I don't think it actually is needed or helps you. I don't know. So is this like Duchy province? But then we're gonna just run the duchies. Do at least get the figurehead down. Probably BitterWurmcoil just hoovers up a bunch of duchies here. We're going for a pile out. Is it in another estate pile out? Yup. That is a nice way to do it. Gonna have the buys exact. If you draw the jeweled eggs, when you draw the jeweled eggs, I should say. Gonna have quite a bit to spare on points. Because the count can get duchy as well. Quite a bit to spare on money and points or whatever. Another estate. Alright. We're up to 4-1 for yurikamome. I always listen. I listen to this. I listen to how it's pronounced. So I've watched a video. But then when I do it, I do the voice in the video, and I attempt to do the voice in the video. It's not my voice. I haven't actually just learned how to say it in my own voice. But we can't, it's just impossible. We have a labyrinth. There's really not. You can always be really ambitious with Shantytown, but otherwise, kind of locked in here to just, you know, probably want a Trickster. Monastery looks pretty good, especially with Lucky Coin. You can get Lucky Coin may give you a path to Duchy Duke, being pretty reasonable. The Labyrinth points should, or I guess I say, Labyrinth points, you know, how they're going to split isn't totally clear. It's going to be on whether someone bottom decks a Lucky Coin or something, most likely. You can also take Engineers, I guess, or buy the Fool itself to give you better angles on the Labyrinth. Whether that's worth it, hard to say. 5-2 looks quite a bit better to me, but it's not the kind of board where that necessarily, you're not getting some huge jump start probably on anything. But it does look nicer. Yeah, if you get a Lucky Coin Trickster set aside, so you get two Labyrinth plays through a shuffle, that would be nice. So far nobody, the Lucky Coins didn't whiff a shuffle so far. We didn't get Monastery paired with them though. I'm surprised the Clerk was blown, or the Engineer was blown up immediately instead of maybe saving it for another shot at the Labyrinth points, but dude, Silver looks oh, did they get it? I guess they got another Monastery trash. Yeah. Good point. Silver looks way better than Candlestick Maker to me here. Like, a lot better. So I don't really get this CSM buy from BitterWurmcoil turn 5 there. We're going to end up even on Labyrinth points. I like super don't get the CSM buy actually. I mean, when you had money for Silver, that I do not understand. CSM probably the worst card that, it's really not the case as much anymore. Well, I just don't play with it as much, but easy to buy. Terrible card though. It's not terrible, but it's pretty terrible. Feels so harmless. More Clerks. We're just gonna live in a lot of Clerks. The Clerks could double hit from Trickster. That would be funny. Someone has 2 in a hand at some point. Yurikamome getting into the duchies. I think here that looks like good idea. This looks like the kingdom to do it. We got a lot of Clerks. Now we're coming in hot on the Dutch. All right, we're gonna get the double Clerk hit here this turn. You should top deck the copper, I think. Well, no, I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever. I understand why you do it this way. You're gonna pass it to the next hand. It actually just doesn't matter which one you top deck. Double hit. They're both making it to the next turn, so it doesn't matter. I guess here you got to think about your max versus it's funny, the clerks are super low too, so there's like 3-pile world. I think you go ahead and you take your province. You've lost the duchy split, but your dukes are still okay-ish if you can. You know, when just put the copper on the next turn. Don't worry about getting a trash in. If you had a curse or something, you'd have to figure out how to do that. I don't think that's right. I don't think you put the monastery the next turn, but it's not crazy. I just don't think it's correct. It does turn out to have paid off. So good for the monastery. It's going to be real funny if the OE draws something nice. Would it draw just a copper? Okay. Trickster collision in a deck this size is quite an accomplishment. You just buy a state. This is just kind of race down the cruddy VP with yurikamome having an advantage on Duke power, but like if they miss it often enough, then still totally doable for BitterWurmcoil. Also, another province goes a long way here. Goes a really long way. Yurikamome does not have. You can buy coppers there too, actually. They didn't do it, but she didn't do it, but you could do it there on 19. You could take a copper with your CSM play. Is probably good for you overall. Didn't make it to the shuffle anyway. All right, well. So that's it. We end up with 4-2 for yurikamome. Congrats to them. A lot of nice games, a lot of 3-piles, some hard, some missed, but all in all nicely played. Thanks for watching with me. Hope you enjoyed it. See y'all later.